This is Leave Your Mark. I'm Vince Cortese, and today's guest is Casey Vormer, aka Remrov. He is an autistic and self-taught pencil artist based in Montreal. He specializes in photorealistic drawings of everything he finds interesting, from animals to cityscapes. Casey has an incredible eye for detail and the ability to hyperfocus, which is depicted in his drawings. He's developed this gift since his childhood for calming his mind and learning to understand in a cruel world. Casey, thank you for being my guest here today.
Well, thank you for having me.
Hi there, and welcome. Now it's time for America's favorite podcast, Leave Your Mark, with your host, Vince Cortese.
If it's fly, loose fitted, it's Cortese. If freezing, chub is in it, it's Cortese.
Leave Your Mark is about inspiring the world, one guest at a time.
Pass the word from Brooklyn to Pittsburgh, from urban to suburb, it's Cortese, you heard?
And here is our host, Vince Cortese.
Well, yours is quite an interesting story. You're a young man at the age of 45, and you started out in Appleton, Netherlands. And you have a twin brother.
Yes.
Share with me what your childhood was like growing up in the Netherlands and when you made your way over to Montreal.
Well, my childhood was very challenging because of like autism-related issues. I didn't know yet that I was autistic, but I had a lot of troubles with communicating, making friends, understanding language, spoken language, and everything around me with school and work. So yeah, everything was quite a struggle.
Now, when did you realize that things were difficult? Was it when you were very young, or was it as you begin to get older? You mentioned that your brother and you were very close when you were younger, and he was a bit of a guide to you as far as how to behave.
Yes, yeah. I already noticed when I was really little in elementary school, I already noticed that there was something different about me, because all the other kids were like extroverted and communicating with each other, and I was just not able to do that social interaction. And so my twin brother, we were almost always together, and so I just copied whatever he did. So to find my way through socializing with other kids, and I just did whatever he did. I said whatever he said, and yeah, he was my example for with things like that.
Now, can you share with me some of the process of your thinking and those moments where you realized that you were different?
I had a lot of fear, actually. And the process of my thinking, it was just like big chaos, just a big chaos, and not understanding anything around me, finding myself on the schoolyard while everybody's playing games and interacting socially, and I was just standing there not knowing what to do and how to present myself or what to say, or I didn't understand all the games, and yeah, it's mostly explained by that.
So you would basically alienate yourself as a comfort zone? Is that how that would work for you?
I did not really alienate myself in like on purpose. I really tried to engage, but and I put a lot of effort into it. I really studied all the other kids, like to try to understand their behavior and their words, and even memorizing everything, like literally, and then copying it in similar situations just to fit in. That I did find myself often with games, sitting in the corner by myself when I was like super overwhelmed by everything, on the schoolyard and places like that.
What I find interesting is later on, when you were officially diagnosed at age 21, kind of swinging back now into this window of middle school age, and you sharing with me now what you did, because the school system wasn't really equipped for someone of your mindset. the situation was more difficult for you, when in
Oh,
fact,
yeah.
so in that line, the formal education, you being smart enough and then not knowing this till later, that had it been skewed to your level of thinking, you probably would have been a straight A student. But because it wasn't
Yeah.
skewed towards your line of thinking, you're considered an outcast and all of these ugly things happen to you. So in that structure of the formal school system, where did it not connect for you? Where did you have, like, it wasn't the understanding just wasn't happening?
Um, a regular school setting, in the elementary school, I already had a lot of troubles with that. I wasn't bullied yet in elementary school, much more so in middle school. But in all those schools, big classes, lots of noises, no filters, like noises coming in from outside, from the hallway in the school, from the schoolyard. And I couldn't filter out the teacher's voice, so I wasn't able to follow anything. Or if we were supposed to read something in school, like a book, I wasn't able to concentrate on that. And I took, aside from that, I took language extremely literally. So even if I did follow, it just went too fast. Everything went too fast for me to process. So I really just needed more time, to process, and a lot more quiet around me, rather than a regular school setting where everything is just chaos and boring.
At what point when you go out in a public setting does that noise pick up? Is it right out the front door, or is it once you hit, from point A to point B on the way over? Or, like, describe to me when you go out, because you referenced the noise.
Yeah.
What is that distraction for you?
Um, my hearing is extremely sensitive. I can hear sounds of frequencies that other people cannot hear, like low sounds and also very high sounds. And everything comes in just as loud. When you don't have autism, you have a certain filter. You can, like, filter out things that are important to you and things that are not important to you up to a certain level. And I don't have that filter. So everything, like from the sound of the wind, from the sound of the rain, from cars, birds, dogs barking, people talking on the street, everything just comes in just as loud, and there's just no filter. So from the moment I leave my quiet apartment, I already get bombarded with all that sensory input. And so by the time I get somewhere, I already lost half of my energy just coping with all that bombardment of sensory input.
Now, with that much going on in the way of distraction, how does a young person, being that you're in a bit older now, how you didn't have the experience when you were younger, how to manage that? So that level of mental exhaustion from all the noise, the idea of learning something or being in a comfortable space mentally to learn something or absorb it, it's just not going to happen. So the formal education ends, you said, here at middle school, and you made some attempts afterwards to do the formal education and it still didn't work. So what was the process that you, and how old were you when you decided to learn a different way?
To learn in a different way was never really all that possible. At my 30s, when I was like 31, I started another education just to try again, because I did voluntary work and it was just way below my interest. And I'm highly intelligent, actually, turned out much later. So, and then cleaning and things like that, or filling an envelope whole day is not really stimulating. And so when I was like 31, I started education, something I was really interested in medical sciences. And there I also came across the same things again. And I just noticed, okay, when I study at home, I can learn. all that time spent in school was just practically wasted time and energy. I was just there present at school and I wasn't learning anything. And then as soon as I came home, I just spent a lot of effort into looking things up online and learning from books, because there I had the quiet and peace to actually really learn. And I was just, in that education, I was a straight A student because I learned about, okay, this is how I can learn. But it did still cost a lot of energy because I had to be in school the whole day. And then afterwards, I had to actually do all the studying.
Connect with us on LinkedIn. Be our friend on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram.
Whether jumping out the MP or jumping on the app.
You are listening to Vince Cortese. We just want you to leave your mark.
Now, what length of time from now, so you're in your 30s, then that you begin to be an artist in a professional line?
Yeah.
And now so at 31, you're moving forward with being an artist full time at this point?
Not
Or
at
does it come a little bit later?
Yeah, it comes later. At 31, I was like, yeah, I was drawing a bit here and there, doing a commission here and there, like drawing somebody's dog, but it was not a lot yet. That came much later, and when I was it was, yeah, in 2019 I really became self-employed entirely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, as far as your learning, now, those of us, if you have a picture, I would love for you to show it on the screen there, because your level of detail is literally mind-blowing. And it's like, there's a number of questions that I have. One is this all just on feel for you? Or with all of your learning and books and interest in art, did you come up with a method or a style of drawing that you do, or a process of drawing that you do that makes your work different?
I'm entirely self-taught. I never did any classes, or I didn't learn anything from books related to art or anything. I just drew, and I just practiced and just drew a lot. And so eventually it came down to, okay, more and more realistic and more and more detailed.
Okay, so then when would you say that you started in your youth? What, probably like as a child then? The intrigue of drawing began?
Yes, when I was really little, as soon as I could hold a pencil, I was always drawing. And when I was little, I drew road maps and cartoony creatures and things like that. And really slowly, gradually throughout the years, it just became more realistic stuff. And the drawing itself, when I was like really little, I enjoyed it to create something from scratch. But also I noticed that whenever I was drawing, people left me alone because I had so many troubles with communicating. I found it scary and a lot of anxiety when I was among people, because they would ask me questions or trying to have a conversation with me, and I just couldn't process it. I couldn't understand their words or express myself with words back. So it made me feel safe to be left alone, which happened when I was drawing.
Now, you have some photographs. You listen to music, a picture of you while you're drawing. You have a parrot on your shoulder.
Yeah.
You're completely lit up in enjoyment of what you're doing. You can tell by the expression in your eyes in the photograph. So what has been the biggest evolution of your artwork? Is it more realistic as you've gotten older, or what is it you're doing now that you weren't doing when you first started drawing?
The realism, the drawing realistic animals, and also making it like really detailed, like my latest my drawing, which is 3 by 6 foot. It's a drawing of downtown Montreal, a cityscape, and I drew literally all the buildings exactly as they are, with the right amount of windows in it, and took me 830 hours in total. That's
30 hours.
yeah.
I love it. Now, when you're doing your artwork, what is the motivation behind when you make a drawing?
Well, a big part is to make a living. My living. So yeah, it's but also the passion I have. I really choose a topic. Okay, this is what I'm in the mood for to draw, like an elephant or indeed that cityscape, just to challenge myself. I love to challenge myself to like okay, that's gonna be like really big, like the Montreal cityscape, and to really put so much work and hours and dedication into it. It just makes me feel good to like challenge myself in such a way. Yeah.
This is amazing. Now, not all of your drawings are that large. Typically, what is an average size drawing that you do, and how long does it take you to complete one?
Oh, yeah, average size drawing. Um, mm, I think average size drawing would be about 24 by 36 or something like that. But I drew much smaller, around like 11 by 17, 14 by 17, 24 by 36, a size like that. But now I'm like gearing towards just large scale drawings. I'm just more interested in making much more large scale drawings. And if you look at a drawing I did a few years ago of a lion, which was yeah, around 24 by 36 inch, that would take me about 120 hours, something like that.
Now, you are rather well known through the internet and the sources on Facebook and some of the social medias, and you're an autistic advocate and you're asked to be a speaker. When was the first time you spoke on behalf of autism?
In the Netherlands was the very first time through an organization. That was the very first time. Yeah, it was like right before I immigrated to Montreal.
Now, are you still doing speaking, or was this something that happened for a little while?
I still do that, but due to COVID, the pandemic, it was yeah, it
Slowed
didn't
down.
really during those like well 2 years, in the last 3 years, not many speaking opportunities, but now it's starting to pick up again, I notice, so that's good.
Now, besides being an artist, you're also an author, and you wrote a book on 2020 connecting with the autism spectrum.
Yes, that's
How
true.
did this come to be, and what is it about?
I was hired. I was contacted by a publishing agency, publishing company called Callisto. They contacted me and they say, "Hey, we want to publish a book about autism, and we found you on YouTube." And so they were wondering if I was interested in writing it, and yeah, I was interested. I was thinking about writing a book for many years already, but it's quite a chaotic process to like, how are you gonna um, organize your book like into chapters, because there's so much overlap with certain aspects, and so I always got stuck at that. But they already had the whole outline done with like, in this chapter you're going to write about this, and in that section you're going to be writing about that, and so that made it possible for me to write that book.
Would you consider writing more books?
I'm not sure. I think I prefer to just stick mostly with my artwork. Yeah, it's not like I have now, okay, I'm going to write another book. It's like I wouldn't even know what to write about, actually. So.
Well, what I want to do is I want to share with the audience where they can find your work on your social medias and websites and so forth. Would you share with me that information?
Sure, yeah. I mean, I have my own website, remrovsartwork.com. People can also find me on Instagram, on TikTok, under Remrov_artist. I'm also on Facebook, Facebook page, Remrov's Artwork. Yeah, and LinkedIn. Twitter.
And now we've arrived at the point where I would like to ask you, how would you like to leave your mark?
With my drawings, I find it important because my love of animals, that people look at the animals through my eyes. But also what I find really important is that autism not necessarily been seen as a disability. Like no matter what you struggle with in life, we all have our weaknesses, but also our strengths. And it's really important to focus on your strengths and to build on that. And I believe everybody can thrive, and if you just follow your dreams and never give up.
That's beautiful. I agree 100%. Well, Casey, it was a pleasure having you on today and hearing about your journey and climbing into your world for a little bit. And I want to thank you for coming by.
Well, thank you too a lot. It was nice. I enjoyed it.
Thanks for listening to Leave Your Mark today. Tune into our next episode of Leave Your Mark with Vince Cortese. Be blessed.
You just left your mark. Thanks for listening. Listen to more episodes on demand. Just click Leave Your Mark with Vince Cortese.